Today on Neural Newscast, we are tracking a significant escalation in the Strait of Hormuz and a shift in the enforcement of the naval blockade against Iran. From Neural Newscast, I'm Vanessa Calderon.
And I'm Victor Hale. The naval blockade of Iranian ports has transitioned from a containment strategy to direct kinetic engagement. Earlier today, the U.S. Navy guided missile destroyer United States Spruance intercepted and disabled the Iranian-flagged cargo ship Touska in the Gulf of Oman. According to U.S. Central Command, the vessel was given a 6-hour warning period to comply with orders and stop its transit. When the crew failed to do so, the Spruance fired multiple rounds from its 5-inch gun directly into the Touska's engine room, effectively stopping the ship in its tracks.
Following that engagement, U.S. Marines boarded and seized the vessel. President Trump confirmed the operation on social media, noting that the Touska has a long history of illegal activity and was already under U.S. Treasury sanctions. This incident comes shortly after Iran fired on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, including a ship belonging to the French firm CMA CGM. The entire region is at a flashpoint, and the blockade is now being enforced with a zero-tolerance policy.
The legal justification for the disabling fire rests on the enforcement of the blockade established last week. Central Command released video of the radio transmissions where the Spruance crew explicitly warned the Touska that they were prepared to use disabling fire. This level of transparency suggests the administration is keen on establishing a clear record of non-compliance to justify the escalation under international maritime law, particularly as Tehran views these actions as a breach of the April 8th ceasefire.
That breach is why diplomatic efforts are currently stalling. Vice President J.D. Vance was scheduled to travel to Pakistan tomorrow for a second round of negotiations, but Iran has officially withdrawn. They are citing the blockade and what they call excessive demands from the U.S. as the reason they will not be in Islamabad. It is a major setback for de-escalation, especially as the president doubles down on his rhetoric.
The president's reaction to the canceled talks has been blunt. Trump warned that if Iran does not agree to American terms, he is prepared to target critical Iranian infrastructure, specifically mentioning every power plant and bridge in the country. This shifts the focus from tactical naval engagements to a threat of total strategic bombardment. While the administration claims it still wants a deal, the window for a diplomatic solution appears to be closing.
The tension is also spilling over into Lebanon. We have reports that Hezbollah attacked UNIFIL peacekeepers, killing a French soldier and injuring 3 others. French President Emmanuel Macron has held Hezbollah directly responsible for the attack. Additionally, the IDF confirmed it killed an operative who crossed the forward defense line in southern Lebanon today. The ceasefire there is holding by a very thin thread.
The situation in southern Lebanon remains volatile. The IDF has been establishing new positions in former Hezbollah strongholds, like Ait Ashab. However, there is also internal friction within the military operations. The IDF is currently investigating an incident in the Maronite Christian village of Debil, where a soldier was allegedly filmed damaging a religious statue. While there is no official confirmation yet, the potential for such incidents to inflame local sectarian tensions is a significant concern for the command structure.
As this unfolds, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Argentina's President Javier Milei in Jerusalem. Milei has been a vocal supporter, and the two are framing this conflict as a battle of civilization. They also announced a new direct flight route between Israel and Argentina. It is a clear sign that Netanyahu is looking to solidify international alliances as pressure from Europe mounts. Spain's prime minister is currently pushing the EU to cut trade ties with Israel entirely due to the war in Gaza.
The economic ripple effects are reaching far beyond the Mediterranean. In Bangladesh, fuel prices were hiked by up to 15% today, with the government blaming the conflict's impact on crude oil markets. It shows how the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz is acting as a direct tax on the global economy. When you combine that with North Korea firing more ballistic missiles today to capitalize on the chaos, we see a world that is becoming increasingly unstable as U.S. military focus remains on the Middle East.
It is a complex situation, but the main takeaway is that the ceasefire is beginning to look more like a regrouping period for a larger fight. Between the Navy seizing ships and the peace talks in Pakistan being called off, we are in a new phase of this conflict. Victor, it does not look like either side is backing down.
The legal and military infrastructure for a long-term blockade is now fully in place. The transition to disabling fire indicates that the rules of engagement have shifted toward active enforcement. We will be watching for any further developments from the White House regarding new negotiations or the realization of the infrastructure threats made today.
From Neural Newscast, I'm Vanessa Calderon.
And I'm Victor Hale.
Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.